It's John Robertson, John Robertson. It's all on. Lights, camera, action.
Hi, my name is Stan Deek. I am the Chief Revenue Officer at Super Dispatch. I'm here with Marco Maggiore from SYCN Auto Logistics at Used Car Week 2023. Marco, how are you?
I'm great, thanks. Thank you.
Hello, my name's John Robertson. I'm an executive with Ship Your Car Now. So Ship Your Car Now has been in existence for about 12 years. It's gone through a couple of different transformations as an organization. It originally began as moving individually owned vehicles for snowbirds from the Northeast to the South, where our founder and Gavin Kesson started the business back then.
And welcome to Ship Your Car Now. Shipping a car is a very straightforward process. However, I'm sure you have all sorts of questions.
Since then, it's transformed into more of a B2B environment where we're actually moving cars for a lot of dealerships and a lot of different remarketing companies, lease companies, different vertical markets like that. And now even more recently in the last couple of years, we've actually pivoted again into more of a informational technology company where now we utilize the technology that we utilized on our own in order to facilitate those moves. We are now integrating that technology directly into our client subsystems so they in fact have the ability to execute on transport moves through our shipping services in a one-to-one relationship via that technology.
How did you end up in logistics in the first place?
That's a funny story. So I'm going to by name give credit to a gentleman named Mike Wysocki, who actually basically built United Road from the scratch up. He was having a conversation about building a broker division for that asset-based carrier over barbecue with a friend of mine who happened to be his neighbor, and said, I know a guy. Once you're in the industry, it's hard to get out, so I'm back.
Yeah. All right, Marco, you've been doing this a long time. How long have you been in the automotive world?
So I've been in the auto transport space for, and I'm going to age myself here a little bit. So it's been over a decade. I think I'm in my 11th year right now.
What was your prior career?
So I've always had a technology background.
Okay.
But it was technology that was based in data security.
Oh,
and
interesting.
in particular, it was kind of identity theft, but not so much for individuals, but for banks and credit unions and government facilities, to where their weakness wasn't their internal system, but their user systems, and that's how people would get into their password. So really I did that for a while. Our company got acquired by this little behemoth in the space called LifeLock.
Oh, sure. Yep.
And then I was looking for a new industry where I thought I might be able to have a technology impact, and I found auto logistics.
Did you ever think in a million years when you were growing up that you would be 10 years in auto logistics?
No, I didn't. And I will stand by this, is that 95% of the people in this space will answer that question no.
Right.
So it's not really a career that I was trending towards. I wound up here based upon my past experiences, but happy to be here. But no, definitely not.
I think if I could send a message to up-and-coming companies in the industry or carriers in the industry, or even if they're competitors in the industry, it would be, this is going to sound cliche, it's transparency, it's partnerships, it's coming to the marketplace, doing what you can to make the marketplace better as a whole. You will inherently improve your company if you go into the marketplace with those attitudes. If you go into the marketplace with the attitude that I want to educate, that I want to build a better market, you will be a participant in that better market. And hey, guess what? That's fun stuff to do. So why not approach the business that way? We're bringing on stay tuned for a version 2 of our client-facing integrations. So we've got a lot of new functionality we're working on today, a lot more exposure directly to the client of what's going on with the transport is going to be coming straight through our portals and onto our clients' desktops and hopefully embedded right inside their technology. We're working on some Salesforce integrations. We're working on a couple of other big integrations that are going to allow us to get on more platforms. That way, easier for our clients to integrate with what we're doing. A lot of our new technology and a lot of our new real-time responsiveness and our ability to report where things are is going to come through our great partnership with Super Dispatch and their ability to provide us with that information that we in turn can combine with our information and feed to our client base. Yeah, so we were kind of an early adopter into Super Dispatch, and we began really utilizing it in spot moves and spot instances where we saw that it could be advantageous for us to get a move done or reach out to a different carrier base. But over time, over the last 4 years that we've been using it, we've actually morphed into a situation today where Super Dispatch is our default. It is our number one choice, and believe it or not, my team is actually required to get executive approval if they want to use something other than Super Dispatch for any particular load. So we're definitely all on board. Yeah, it's interesting. Bek and I have known each other for a few years now. I can appreciate what Bek's doing on his side of the business as much as I enjoy what we're doing on our side of the business. The space where his world is, and we've been working together in that space for 4 or 5 years now, is something that we don't necessarily directly do ourselves. So it's been great to find a partner like Bek who's really engaged with us and ability to work with us in order to deliver the services we do. So basically with Ship Your Car Now, my role as part of the executive team is to come up with strategic directives for the organization, really make sure that we're executing on those operationally, but also supporting our business development and marketing efforts so that we can generate the revenue coming inboard, actually manage that business internally, and then execute it on a high level so that our customers and clients are always more than satisfied with our service model. You know, you can go to business school and you can learn these business models, but our uniqueness today is really, it's the flat management model. Our founder, Gavin, literally, he could be the next person to pick up an inbound phone call. He still does that today to stay in touch with this market space. We hire the best people on the floor. We hire people that can execute at a high level. We keep the people that execute at a high level. We reward them well to do so. And that allows us to not have to micromanage them. So we don't need to have 4 levels of management in between. We're very good at behaving quickly and nimbly by having a very thin relationship in that sense.
So you mentioned, which is a really interesting thing to have experience in around fraud and data security.
Yep.
To think about, you know, one of the other trends, I think, whether it's here or elsewhere, is fraud in the market. Fraud in the market is something that comes up a lot. We get asked about a lot, hear about a lot. How do you guys think about it?
Yeah, well, I mean, double brokerage is kind of the way, you know, we phrased it, is that it has bubbled up.
Yeah.
We have always had a lot of protections in place as a company to make sure that we're catching that.
Yeah.
But as these professional organizations, you know, get more and more sophisticated, we've definitely found that we're going to have to put some additional resources and time and training into ensuring that we're protecting our customers.
Yeah, it's something that, you know, we try to take pride in as well. If you guys reach out to us and say, hey Stan, something seems fishy here, like we'll look into it and get back to you guys, right? So I think that it's a little bit of a self-policing.
I agree, and I think we actually had this exchange not too long ago.
Yeah,
we brought it up to you guys. You said, yep, we're aware of it, we're already on it, but it's that type of open communication. I think that's going to be the first line of defense, right?
Excited about the industry as a whole. I think right now we're seeing a little bit of a comeback from a couple of weird years here where one week we were up, one week we were down. Nobody really knew what was happening. We're finally getting back to a little bit more of a normal market. I've heard estimates that it's still going to be another 3 years before we're in a normal market. We'll see what happens. Transportation tends to be very resilient in that industry, so so far so good. We've been growing during this period, and 2023 should be the next level on the growth scale, so we're looking forward to it. I think the number one area where the industry's made all of the progress in the last 5 years is in technology. And whether that's through a tool like Super Dispatch, which is completely leading in their technology space, or through some of the integrations we do on the client-facing end where we're leading in that integration space, that is a light years above where it was 5 years ago, and 10 years ago, and 15 years ago, when I can't even tell you the stories of what we used to do. Let's just say it involved a carbon paper, okay? So that is the obviously leaps and bounds ahead. Where it lacks the most today and the biggest gap in the world is somewhere between shippers and carriers. So there's the shippers and technology services that are going on that are very effective and are working very well. And then there's the guys on the street that got to drive the truck. And the guys on the street driving the truck aren't quite there yet. And so there's a big gap between people that want to behave this way with technology and tools and efficiencies and so on and so forth, and this guy who just wants to make sure he's over at Truck Stop Amy's because she's got that corned beef sandwich by noon, and he could care less if he delivers that car between 3 and 7 tonight or tomorrow morning. We got to fix that.
Any specific trends or just conversations that you've heard this year that are, top of mind?
Yeah, well, in our, in the transporting space, what I've heard is a lot of people bringing up tracking.
Yeah, okay, there
shocked,
you go.
Right? You're shocked right now.
Shocked about tracking.
But
exactly.
The tracking has morphed more so from being something that maybe companies think, hey, this is great to have, more so to, hey, we require this to have. So, that's been brought up in several different avenues.
What about I don't know if you've attended other sessions outside of transport, or any other themes outside of the transport space that you've heard?
I think we've had a lot of participation in the repo space this year. A lot of people not only speaking on it, but attending on that behalf. So I have to say, if I had to pick, this has been the top, category. I think repo has taken the show this year.
I think it's the year of the repo, and the year of how do I find more inventory.
That's right, agreed.
I think it's the other one is how do I find more car inventory. That's awesome.
Yep.
All right, Marco, what do you love to do when you're not in the auto logistics world? What are your hobbies?
So I grew up just a little bit Italian, which is probably, quite obvious.
Yeah.
And as a little kid, one of the first loves that my dad installed into me was a love of soccer. So I have been playing soccer my whole life. I was blessed to play in high school and college. Still playing to this day, and I've always told people until they kick me off of the pitch with my walker, I'm gonna play. The game plan is to pivot over to golf when that day happens, Stan. But
it could be tomorrow.
Could be. I mean, we're here. It's a beautiful setup. But I still play today. And,
do you really?
I do. Yeah. So it's a good way to kind of blow some of that stress out, but just something I've always just enjoyed and grew up with.
That's awesome. So does your family play?
So I have 3 children.
Yeah.
My eldest son and my middle daughter do not.
Okay.
But my little guy, he's kind of the athlete of the group.
Yeah.
They've all been subject to soccer, but I haven't pushed it and said, hey, you're playing soccer.
Yeah.
But he does enjoy it. So we'll see. There could be hope there. There is that competitive nature that I have, and I think people that know me well enough will be the first to say, yeah, he's a little bit of a competitive guy.
Okay.
But I also believe in building strong teamwork. And that teamwork is built by honest and open communication. And it's really making sure that people are able to have hard conversations and challenge each other.
Yeah.
That shows your passion for what you do in your industry as opposed to that traditional yes man role or what have you. So that's really what I like to bring from my playing days collegiately to what we're doing now at SYCN is that we challenge each other, but we're very open and communicative with each other.
My golf game is not good enough to land business. It's definitely not good enough to win any money, but I do golf. So it's golf is another one of those great events or opportunities where you can network. And so golf, in my mind, is a metaphor for networking overall, right? Because that's really the way to earn business. It's building relationships, it's being out there, it's engaging with people, it's networking, whether it's on a golf course or at a conference, or in a meeting. Those are all important places for you to build relationships, and business is still built on relationships. You can do great marketing stuff. I can run commercials, I can do mailings, I can do emails, I can do all those things. But if I don't build relationships with the people we want to work with and become their true partner, you're never going to have that sustained business growth, and that's what we really look for.
What do you think about, I live in Atlanta. What do you think about the U.S. Soccer Federation moving their headquarters from Chicago to Atlanta?
It's obviously a choice that, who would do that, right? I mean, Chicago has to be the greatest city in the world. I've heard that from some people, but the bagpipers agree with me. That's just what happens.
Sounds like they're playing a funeral march for the Chicago headquarters is what it might be.
That's really, that's it.
All right, there we go. Applaud the bagpiper. All right, so you've got a couple days left of Used Car Week. Yep. What are you looking forward to, or what are you going to try to accomplish in the next couple days?
Yeah, well, I mean, the game plan stays the same, right? It's just get out there, maybe make some contacts with people that I don't know so well, get to learn some companies and what their offerings might be. I really want to take bagpipe lessons at some point, so I'm hoping I have the opportunity to do that here.
We're Scottish Resort.
That's really what the goal is, right?
That's awesome.
Absolutely. Yeah.
All right, Marco, thanks for spending some time with us, man. It's good to see you as always, buddy. Y'all take care.
Take care.
All right.
Great.
Thanks for doing this. I think we got it.
That's it? All right. Cool.